6:40, sorry.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Single. Dear Lord, place a protection around us, and please let everything work out today, and just guide us, and have us follow you in whatever you want. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
All right, this is roll call. Back to you, Tim. Tim Kerman here.
Laurie Gunnison here.
Terry O'Keefe. All right, new business, election of officers. We need to elect chair and vice chair, because I guess we didn't do it this past year. Everybody's current. Everybody's current.
Dan is here.
Dan is current too.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion for you, so everybody's here.
Do that. You good? Good.
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Yeah.
I say. Is there, yeah, it has the alternate, sign his paper.
Do we have an alternate?
We don't have an alternate right now.
So Joe Bond is no longer.
Joe Vargas decided not to re-up.
Okay. So that is.
Because just, alternates need to be 10 years, because they never know when they're going to call.
So the next thing is the ZBA rules and procedure. Did everybody look at that? Can we adopt that now, or what do we? Yeah.
I actually found it. And I want to get that.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I read a lot of stuff. You want to be my editor?
No.
Okay, so a chairperson shall be elected annually by majority vote of the board in the month of, did we decide on April? We haven't decided. Based on
Yes.
what the board's doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this supposed to be after the election? Is that how?
After the first meeting after the election.
Alright, so that kind of makes sense. Okay, and then I've got the address that this was on.
The first meeting after the election is what?
It's when everybody gets reappointed.
Is when everybody gets reappointed.
Yeah.
So it
Makes sense.
just makes sense to wait to do the election.
Yeah, you need to have officers in your first meeting.
Yeah.
So if they're appointed and able to vote for chair, vice chair,
Okay, so we want to do that April.
whatever the first meeting.
So the selectmen's meeting would be like the first Monday. When do you guys meet?
The first Monday.
Okay, so that would work because we're the third Tuesday, so everybody would already be appointed at that point.
And I have a question, because I'm still confused. When you're saying an election of chair people, that's just usually the head two,
Yes.
not being like me, a committee member.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's going to be taken care of in March, right?
Yes.
Committee members are different than chairs. Okay.
Correct.
Because I don't want to ever be a chair, I just want to be a committee member. Two separate entities, just curious.
Well, it's not two separate entities.
But, well,
The selectmen appoint the members. The members elect the officers.
okay, the member, okay. But then
We elect the officers.
we elect the officers who we think that could be a chair or a vice thing. But the selectmen still, now, okay, I'm in disagreement with that. Because of our population that we live in, it really shouldn't be the selectmen appointing the members. That's what it says in the RSA and what it says in the state of New Hampshire, based on our population. But if that's what we're gonna be doing in the rules of procedure, it's a little different. Yeah, well, no, based on our population, and it's even, there's a thing on the website, Middleton, New Hampshire is a it even shows you, it's what is it, the board of selectmen, non-board of selectmen members, it's volunteerism and stuff like that, it's based on our population. Like, what is our population? I don't even know right now, it's like 3,000, 4,000, but.
No, at least,
Yeah, and it's because of that, no other town like our town has just the members, the selectmen making their decision. You can look it up.
You wanna send it to me? You wanna send it to me?
Yeah, because I read it.
I'll ask
It's
him.
about volunteerism and
No.
becoming a
You
member.
have two ways, either
what I'm saying,
selectmen
I
put you
think-
on or the people vote you in, right?
Tim, could you check on that?
Yep, already made enough.
With the,
Yeah.
the law?
Yeah,
Already made enough.
yeah, so we have it from this week. This week.
That's what I read.
You
But
better-
then again, I'm confused on who is committee, and that could be my ignorance. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't, do you understand? I mean,
I know that towns have the option to either appoint or
Or
elect,
left.
Okay,
You know, two
yeah.
options.
and we've always had it appointed.
Right.
Now, this population thing is new to me. I
Yeah.
know we're not the only town that has appointed
right.
board members.
Mhm. And that's what I'm thinking, we should be appointed. But now all of a sudden you guys are talking about,
Oh, we
No,
are.
we're
are
appointed, we're appointed by the board of selectmen.
Right.
We're not elected by the townspeople.
no, we're not elected.
We're
Right.
appointed by the board of selectmen.
So
And then the board itself elects the chair and the
Okay,
vice chair.
so then let's clarify that, then you guys are correct and I'm corrected, then I had the wrong terminology. I was thinking that you thought we needed to be, because I know for a fact I was never elected. I know for a fact, I was never elected.
No.
So that's why, but I didn't think that I was appointed, but maybe I was appointed, meaning they had to run my name by there to make sure. So then that's
You were
fine.
elected,
So then don't worry about
That's what
that.
this
Don't
says.
worry about, you can research whatever you want, but I totally understand. See what I'm saying?
We can always, if we wanted to, put in a warrant article saying the members should be elected.
No, I don't agree because of
Well,
our.
I'm just saying, that's an option.
Yeah.
That's the other.
No, then you can scratch, what I'm saying is, that's what I'm trying to say, again, it was my ignorance, I don't know, but we should only be appointed. Yeah, that's what we're on the same page now, okay?
Okay.
But you can still look at the typos on that
All
too.
right, all right, so what are the,
Remember I told you in the beginning, and
The typo is just the address.
so we need to make a motion to accept this,
With,
then we'll second it, and then we can have a discussion on it.
hold on.
yeah,
We
with the
need to
amendment.
get, so do you know what, you've proofread it and you know what typos there are?
I
now?
have proofread it, how closely is another thing, I was kinda counting on you guys to read it.
I read it.
well, I read it like a month ago, this was the same thing I got a month ago, I haven't read it recently, put it that way. It was the
So I'm
same thing.
not a lawyer, I read this stuff all the time and I really don't know if there's a typo or if
Well,
there's
typo is just in the
there's a lot
spelling.
of those words, I mean, it's, yeah.
Well, look at
I'm a
this way.
truck driver, you know, CB.
If you guys approve it-
tires, wheels.
If you approve it and a typo was found, something's misspelled, that can be changed without reapproving it.
Okay, is that all you noticed or some typo?
All I noticed was the address here was incorrect.
The address. that's
I had
all.
182 instead of 200.
Typo, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, so what I would suggest is that if you like what it says and how it says it, that you approve it with that amendment.
And as long as you had that attorney double check everything, so that was the most important part.
Not these, I haven't had a journal.
Okay.
This is from the New Hampshire Municipal Association Handbook recommended
Okay.
rules and procedure. I just made a couple changes to suit.
Okay, question.
Mhm.
Should we have the attorney look at it?
If it's recommended by the other one, I don't think we need to waste.
I know we don't need to, if you want to, we could.
Well, I mean,
Anything's better than the last rules.
here's the only thing I think about that.
Well, that's, yeah.
If you're going to pay an attorney to represent a board or any, or if I was to hire one, for instance, I would like to think that my attorney and I are on the same page, right? I would give whatever I have personally to the attorney before I hired them probably and said, well, say, what do you think going forward? I think this is kind of the same thing, isn't it? If you're gonna have your rules and guidelines
Because the attorney looked at the application.
I'm just saying, I
The
don't think,
application, not the rules of
Oh, she
procedure.
didn't look at this at the same time?
so I don't,
Yeah, you know, I mean, I have a problem doing that if we can spend the money.
I
No,
wouldn't,
oh.
I wouldn't think it would be an absorbent amount of money
No.
to have her.
So before we do that, that has to be run by the BOS to make
Yes.
sure
Yes.
that we can spend money. So if the ZBA would like to do that, then we have to wait.
My contention is this is better than what we have.
Exactly, and it's 100% better. We've looked at it before. This has been going on.
And
for a
ZBA,
couple
what's
of
called
months.
the BOS, what's called reviewed it, looked at everything. We have 5 different members who all signed off on it, so.
And we
Okay,
can't
but-
change it if we
but-
find out something, we want
but-
to change something. we can
Let me just say, at some point, someone looked over the last set that we had and thought,
change it. 2001,
yeah,
23 years.
no, I did it,
Sure it was fine.
I did it. I'm just saying, me, for the, $150 that it would cost, it may or may not be worth, having.
Well, we don't know what the price will be.
I think it'd be more than that.
Yeah, and on top of which, like I said, so we also have to remember where we are in our budget as far as legal goes right now. We are very far over.
I make a motion that we accept this rules of procedure that we've been working on so hard and we've been doing a great job on. And that the BOS has already looked off and signed on it.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, now we can have a discussion. Take a vote. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in the same track with Jimmy, only because I thought that the lawyer already looked at this with that application thing at the same time, because they should go together, right? They kind of go hand in hand. This rules of procedure kind of should.
Totally different, I mean, the rules
It's not a-
are how you guys
Rules
function.
relate to us.
Us, right, it's
And
not the
they
application.
do that.
Now, so these are a set of rules and procedures given to you by the New Hampshire Municipal Association?
It's template, yeah.
All right, and then what? We tweak them, right? Some
I put the word Middleton in, I put the April thing in, that you guys decided you wanted to do.
They give you samples on their website.
But this talks about things when you're having hearings, so.
The way that you're gonna hold it
It
here.
talks about when you're
Yeah, it
having
talks
hearings,
about,
so
it
it
talks
goes hand
about
in hand.
60 days, 90 days, 5 days notice,
But
that's the way it's supposed to be.
statutory.
Statutory, right?
It's not the application,
That's,
the application.
and that's
The number of the application is
we
just how
It
change.
says application.
That's statute.
I don't know, whatever you guys want, if you guys,
It talks in here about the procedures for accepting the application.
And appeals, if you want to decide to appeal, and if you want to put a notice out, it's just about all the other towns' rules. But the way that everybody kind of.
but I know what Jimmy's talking about, you have to have a conformity with everything that you're doing, so something doesn't, a lawyer can't look at it and say, look, your rules say total opposite of what your application says, so if it's not matching, but you can do whatever you want.
Well, this is two
It
different
is,
things, right?
well, it's
These are two
also,
different things, and this is
it mentions in here
rules
that our
and
application.
procedure guide what we're doing, whereas the application guides what.
No, because this talks about how many days you have, this talks about if people are going to disqualify themselves,
Well, it talks about what the application.
how you're going to run the hearings, it talks about everything except the actual application, so.
Well, that's part of the law, right?
Not necessarily. No, it's not in the law. The law is very vague. Doesn't
How
tell
many
you.
days you have? And that's in the law.
So, whatever you guys want to do. And then motion and second, you want to have a vote, any more discussion?
I make the motion to accept it.
No, we already did that. We're already beyond that.
Now you have to vote.
I move the question.
But,
Who's the question? So
Gotta
vote.
vote. I say I move the questions. Is anybody else second moving the questions, which means we get to vote. So we're not gonna vote on it.
no, if you want to vote, I'll do it in a second.
Oh, yeah, I'll second it.
No, the motion's already been seconded, it's been moved to second.
No, no, no.
Her motion to,
It's to move the question.
right,
Let's
that doesn't
vote
need
on
to be
it.
seconded, that just needs to be voted.
Well, let's do it then.
All in favor?
Aye.
All abstaining.
Great,
Say
but
you
it
want.
passes.
Well, alright, so what do you think of saying?
Well, just,
Doesn't.
my reason is,
You have to have a reason to think about it.
my reason is that I'd like to see it, you can grow it, like Jimmy brought up with the lawyer, so that everything is covered, and then you have something to fall back on with the lawyer. If it goes to court after this, if there's another hearing that comes up, a contentious hearing, and something doesn't jive with the way the application is.
We can note that we want to, when we do have our attorney back in our business and our attorney, have the attorney get an advice to say, what do you think of our rules of procedure? So
Right now, it's, we voted
It's
3-1, right?
Good job.
So it's a done.
Yeah, it's already adopted.
There we go.
Alright.
We're
So they
good.
don't need to do anything more, just he wanted a reason, that's my reason.
Okay.
From what Jimmy brought up, that it's just nice when everything is growing, and then you can fall back on your lawyer and say, you said that this was good. It falls back on their liability, not so much as the town. So, but
You understand?
be a lesson.
All right. So,
Next
last
thing.
order.
Next. ZBA rule, oh yeah, planning. But how come we didn't do our minutes? There's nothing in here for minutes.
Did the review minutes, I'll talk.
And then it's not gonna come down.
Oh, crap.
Skip that.
And the minutes from last month.
I thought I was gonna have to be chair, so I was hoping we'd do the election. All right, so let's do the minutes, we'll get that done, and we'll go with the planning.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Any good second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on it? Anything need to be changed? Everything looked good to me. Good. All right, seeing no more discussion, all in favor? Aye. That's all set. That's all we have is one set of minutes, right? Now we'll go to the planning board thing. So, they're having a meeting, looks like on December 19th, that this is just gonna be one of their workshop meetings, it's
Yes.
not a regular meeting?
Workshop meeting. And they're looking for people to come and let's give it suggestions.
Because we had, what, 2 or 3 things that we wanted to work on, right? That Jimmy had one thing, and then Dan had something else, and then you, Linda, had something that we wanted to focus on. So, I know we were.
Well, the one thing that I was concerned with was the, family compound.
Right, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they're thinking
I
of.
think they are, from what I've heard, some grumbling that they were looking at.
So do we want to tackle
I
that?
think basically deleting it is what they were talking about. I personally, I don't think you and this is probably a discussion to have with them more than between us, but I don't think a family compound thing is necessarily a bad idea. It certainly would help somebody that was looking to do that, save some money perhaps. But I do feel like if you have a minimum lot size ordinance, which we do, which is 5 acres, that it should say specifically that you would need the amount of acreage per unit.
Yeah.
So in other words, if you were on a 10 acre lot and you wanted to build another place, family compound like for your son or daughter, you would need a 10 acre lot to do that, one house. If you had 2 kids, 2 houses, 15, so on. Because, I just foresee a lot of issues as far as down the road, people die, people get in fights, things happen. And it's the only way that you could ever
Make it right, yeah.
get your money back in a situation like that.
So
Or eliminate it.
the state says that you can do it anyhow, right?
Yes.
The state covers it, but if we eliminate it, does it just fall back to the state regulations
No,
about the homestead?
I don't think, the state doesn't mandate that you have to let that happen. I believe the state says you can
Oh.
have family compounds.
So is anybody gonna come on Thursday?
Oh, yeah.
No, we're trying,
I meant,
no, we're trying to get through this so we can give them some recommendations.
Well, I mean, I will go if I'm not out plowing snow all night. I mean, it's this Thursday, right?
Yeah, well, that's a 50-50 shot for you.
I think,
They're expecting snow, so that's what I mean,
Yeah.
50-50 shot for you.
I don't think it's much, but
So do we want to give recommendations at that meeting? Do we want to go over stuff tonight to give them recommendations on our ideas? Or
Yeah,
no?
that'd be good.
Is anybody thinking they're gonna go?
I'd like to go if I can. Not
Okay,
making any
so I
progress.
guess
I'm gonna try to go too, but I'm not committing. I'm gonna definitely try to go, and I'm definitely gonna be an encouragement to keep the family compound.
Well,
5 acres, following the rules.
if we go just as single people, right, and talk, then we're just giving our input. But if we want to make a vote to put it as the zoning board, the recommendation, we can do that, right? Linda?
Yes.
I don't think.
Is that not
there's
worth doing?
I don't think there's any set procedure for that. They're
It's
just looking for
pretty
input.
casual.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're just
okay.
looking for input.
Oh, so it's not anything formal? Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
the
actually not even recorded, it's just
Yeah.
talking about.
It's a workshop, it's different.
Ideas and stuff?
But if the zoning board has, say, particular items that they want to present as, you know, as an board,
They're not gonna
Then-
want to hear from me, because I think that we should be lowering 5 acre lots to 2 acres. I mean, did you
So-
see it in the news today? I
So,
mean, we're in a housing crisis. It's ridiculous, so, I mean, did you see they have 60, 70 people in housing units going?
Did you see that they said the President of the United States was a Nazi?
I didn't see that one.
They say a lot of
But I
shit.
mean, we're in a huge housing crisis,
That's all
so,
I'm
I
saying.
mean, I don't know.
So-
You
I
wanna-
mean, they
Well, that's
say
to be
a lot of
voted
shit.
on by the town, anyway.
Exactly.
so if this
exactly.
workshop, we can just give our input, do we want to, I mean, because John had asked before if we could give formal stuff, probably not for this workshop, but after that. If we get our ideas, we can come
Like,
back.
if, I haven't been back on the board for very long, but like, if you had 5, 6, 7 cases a year that kept coming in on the same ordinance, and you constantly give it variance, maybe that ordinance needs to be changed.
Well,
And that's when the board itself would say, you know, let's look at this and tear it apart and make a presentation to the planning board based on our history. This ordinance just isn't working anymore.
The biggest,
Well, I
But
also
I don't
feel,
know
I
if
feel that if you have even one person comes in for a variance, and it's
Right.
something that's significantly
The way our internet
difficult,
should change.
then, you know, and I think that the family come, we're being recorded here, I don't wanna, you know, but the things that I've seen done in family compound, the family compound situation, I've not even, most,
yeah, and you could do it a little different and just,
the towns.
The family compound has never been a problem at all, so I don't even understand. We had one guy come here.
I can take that.
we could, Judy, we could
But
also
one
make
man.
recommendations to change it, to make
Can't
sure that
subdivide.
the number of houses each met, whatever district you're in, the right size land area. Instead of doing away with it, my reason for not doing away with it is, it might be too broad that the state thing might override us.
Right.
So if we keep it, instead of just eliminating it, we can say that, because all it does is save you from having to subdivide. But if you, each person had, if they
Well,
had,
no, I'd say you can have the subdivide, it also gives you the opportunity that, if you have a good functioning well.
yeah, you share.
Here's one, a shared well.
Yeah.
If you build one
True.
sizable septic system,
share.
you can share it, so there is
There's a lot of
some
savings.
opportunity for some big cost savings. But there also is, as I said, the issue of how would you sell it? You know, I mean, it would be very difficult,
Yeah.
in my opinion, to sell
So you
that
can't.
piece of property.
But we don't, that's not our concern how they're gonna sell it.
Well,
How
it is
they're
our
gonna sell it.
concern because we had a guy in here that wanted to subdivide his lot.
But he
A
can't,
week
because
a week after he built, he didn't even have an occupancy permit on the second house. And it was quite a can of wood, and quite a can of worms, I believe.
Oh, we're not talking about one guy, but he didn't follow the rules then, because the rules clearly say not to, you have to have, it's a 5 acre lot, not subdivided. Each lot has to follow the guidelines. I mean,
Well,
unless
that's
you
what
have
I was
50
saying,
acres.
try and tighten it up a little bit to make sure that if you have one house, you meet the zone, whatever zone you're in, it's the business zone, the smaller, and make it so that we tighten it up that way and give them that recommendation. That, I think, is the second thing. The number one thing that we've had problem with is the lake lots, right? And
So
the
that's
setbacks.
already.
I think we need to look at what the setbacks are, because we had them ones, the one we just went by was 10 feet. And that was crazy, that, you know, that you and I were overridden. I think we need to really make something fair and stick by it, and not have variances to it, maybe 20 or 30 feet or something, and get something that's workable, and, you know, not have people put houses 10 feet from the road. That's gonna screw you up.
Luck with that, because, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna make a separate,
For the lakes,
set of
small
rules.
lots.
We have the non-conforming, like, the problem that I see with the Lake District, I was just over on Pinkham the other day, and their house is so close to the street because their lots are very short. And then you come over where I am on Lake Shore, and their lots are longer from the water to the street. So it's really hard to say, well, you know, yeah, you can take a certain setback and say that's going to apply to everyone. I think what we have now is good because it's general. And for those areas where those non-conforming lots are so not deep enough between the lake and the street, they're going to have to come into variance. I would not want to change the whole district to make the frontage, to make the setback shorter, just to satisfy a handful of houses that are on the lake that would have to come in for a variance. We should, you know,
Yep. So,
let's accommodate the medium-sized lots
So,
and worry about variances for the others.
I'd like to comment on that. I agree with Linda, but I'll also say that had the proper procedure been followed on that particular one that you're referencing.
Well, I'm talking about the second one, that they haven't started. I wasn't even talking about the one that's already built.
Well, I mean, to me, I don't believe, the guy certainly would not been able to get a building permit to put the garage where.
No, no. No,
Okay.
he would have had to get a variance.
And then going forward, it's questionable whether anybody would get a garage down there. You know, because it's pretty hard to meet the setback. But again, my feeling on it is, those lots were cut out, back in the day to build small camps on and not full-size houses.
Full-time.
And it's kind of what it's evolved into, and they're not big enough to get the center. So I don't know, but I'm kind of with on, you know, why should we change all of the ordinances?
Well, the reason for it is because the board at the last thing gave the guy 10 feet. He's putting his house 10 feet from the edge of the right of way right now. So that's basically the new, and if we don't,
One's in his house, it's his garage.
It was just a garage.
It's his garage, not his house.
no, the other one, the second one after was the house.
That was replacing an existing structure.
Yeah, that was quite a bit.
Sorry,
Yeah, and that was in the same footprint.
There was a whole new,
It was in the same footprint.
no, the house didn't follow the same footprint,
It
absolutely.
was in the same footprint as
No,
far
the house was
as
twice the size of what the
the
original
one that
was.
was on the 100 by 100
So the
lot.
state law is you can replace, you can't add 1 inch, you can replace and nobody can stop replacing. That house is twice the size of what the first house was.
The one on a 100 by 100 lot?
No, the lot is a lot bigger.
Oh,
than that.
then I don't know which one
Yeah,
you're
the
talking
second
about.
one that we did, the lot was quite a bit bigger and they could have moved it back, but
I'm sorry. about
Jimmy and I voted against it and you guys approved it. So
that. Was the
that sets a
100 lot.
that's a standard that you have now. I know that it was a
It's not
variance.
a standard.
It's not a
It is
standard, it's an
Well, it's
exception.
arguable.
I mean, there could be a brand new board in here,
True.
you know, and, they're gonna say, you know, perhaps, what the hell did those idiots do that for, and go whichever way they want.
Right.
I mean, that's the way it works.
Every ruling.
I don't believe that a standard was
No,
created
every ruling
I
stands
didn't
by
agree.
itself.
with the variance, but I'm only one vote.
Any
It's just how
approval
it is.
sets
But
an arguable
I
standard.
don't know, No, I don't.
In a court of law, it's called.
And, you know, that goes back to the last discussion we had, okay? You can have all the ordinances, rules, RSAs, regulations, laws, okay? But as long as you're living in America,
Right.
you have the right to challenge every single one. And you can go get a lawyer, you can do it yourself. Either way, you know, you have that right.
Yeah.
So, creating more, I don't think is necessarily always a good idea. With that said, I think I at least feel it's incumbent on me to try to make decisions that make it as least impactful to the town as we can. If, again, like the family compound thing, the only thing I'm saying is when you open up the door to things, sometimes it opens up the door to litigation and expense for the town. When you could just say, yeah, we're not gonna allow, we're not gonna do that. So that's kind of where I'm at.
So anyways, I have a comment that I wanted to make for the planning board, and they're looking at our suggestions and opinions to help with the town ordinance. I think it's really important that I know that when we look back at our history within the last 2 years, I see little issues about, the lake regions, the little Sunrise Lake lots. However, I also see one of the major issues is our building inspector, our code enforcer with the applications, and when he denies them and they show up, like just for example, the Dubois lady, we need an answer why this was denied. Like, okay, you're coming here for a variance, you need an exception, we need proof from this building inspector. So that's my concern, that we've had over and over again, this building inspector has not supplied these applicants with an exact denial.
I think we could take care of that pretty easily by asking Tim if he could speak with the Board of Selectmen and maybe talk to Carl, who's the building inspector, and I'm pretty sure he would be fine with it. That, anytime we need him to come to a meeting, or, perhaps even go so far as to say, if we're having a public hearing on something that he has had anything to do with.
It doesn't even need to be a public hearing, it should just be the application. A person comes to us with an application for an exception because they denied a building permit. We need to know why it was denied.
So,
like,
realistically, all you guys need is to understand the reasoning for it, the justification.
Yeah, exactly, that's
So-
all I want, and we've still never got it.
I asked Carl about that.
We don't get it.
But Carl said you need to give her a bunch of reasons, or give her whatever she needs, but he hasn't received from her what her plan is, so.
Okay, well then why is she here? So the bottom line is, nobody should be coming to us with an application if they don't have an exception or a reason why they're coming to us. Maybe my terminology is wrong, but I'm hoping you understand.
Hold on. Generally, it's self-explanatory. The person who wants to build an addition off to the side of their house, the setback is 75 feet. Well, they want to encroach on that by 10 feet.
Well then let's have it in writing,
So
please.
he denies the building permit.
Well, I haven't seen that.
And that's what happens most of the time.
Well, Lauren, if I'm understanding correctly, all you want is what's called, when there's a denial for the justification, the
Yeah,
exception.
so then we know it. We don't need him sitting here with measurements and figuring out, oh, maybe they could do this, maybe no. Why was it denied? Like, we're trying to get 20 feet variance, so she knows what she's getting.
Because of RSA, blah, 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 or because of the code, blah, 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 it has been denied.
This has been denied,
That way you know.
and she needs a 13-foot variance. This was denied because they need a 20-foot variance.
You have pretty much been their legal counsel through this whole process.
Oh, I don't have a
As
time.
far as I'm concerned, but most of the time it is explained on the application to us. Had she have wrote that stuff down, why she was requesting the variance.
It wasn't also in there for
Which
the,
is-
for the
which
late
goes to-
garage people either.
Which goes to the criteria that she has to go to obtain one.
That was
It's,
just a whole service to me.
So, like I said, Lori's just asking
Yep.
for
And
the
I-
justification to be put in the application, which is fine.
Yeah. I
Which
think
is
we should
a
do
simple
that.
ask.
Every
And
applicant.
I'm used to
should
that.
have.
I was under the impression that when the code enforcement officer denies an application, he has to cite on that application why.
That permits
That's
it. Perfect.
Yep.
And even on the garage, like, there was different,
So,
they're
I
coming
mean,
to us.
if he just gives them a copy of his denial, this is attached to your application, then we'll know why they're coming.
Perfect.
That's exactly all, and I'm thinking for future events for myself and other applicants. When we apply for a variance and an exception, meaning,
I thought she had set that for us.
no, she didn't even know what she wanted.
She doesn't know.
And she still doesn't know.
Like I said, the fact that that's
But keep it on
happening
her.
is why we have the information, we can move forward.
So when anybody goes to this meeting, you're not to say that you're the planning board, the zoning board, you're just there.
You can say, you know, my experience in
You
sitting
can
on.
say that you're on the
zoning
planning board,
board,
but you can't say the planning board, the zoning board, or any of that, so just
You
remember.
can't say that I
Yeah.
come here on behalf
Right.
of.
No,
Right.
definitely
Just
would not
be
do
clear.
that.
Come, go there as a.
It's your own opinions, that's why I was getting at that, it's your own opinion.
Just
it's
to
like
be
the same-
supportive.
Right.
Don't worry there.
All right,
You should be going to say the meeting more housing in the town.
just so I know, and I talked to John, Laura, you're planning on going, if possible?
If I can make it, yes, I
Yeah.
definitely want to try, yeah.
Planning on,
I'm gonna try, I'm gonna try.
and Chuck,
I
okay.
can make it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna reach out to him and say,
I
let's
think
go,
it's, I think
all
it's
support,
important,
right?
I think it's important for us to be communicating with them.
Good, yeah, I'm just gonna reach out to him, let him know what's called, that he can hopefully expect to see us there.
So it's a workshop, and it's not even a public meeting?
It is a public
It's a
meeting.
public meeting,
But it's not videotaped.
but when they're together, that's a meeting, it's a
It's a workshop,
It's
yeah.
a little
It's a
workshop.
So there's difference between having a meeting and a workshop.
So if we're all there, if there's three of us there, it's a meeting too, just so everybody knows. If there's a quorum and we're all in the same place and discussing things, it's a meeting. So,
But don't come.
no, if we have three people there,
But it's
so,
been noticed as a workshop.
Right.
You're right.
no, we are, that's legally, if we're there and we discuss things.
And
Even if you're not there.
We're not,
Yeah.
we're not there having zoning board.
Yeah, just like if you go to a sidewalk, it has to be, you take minutes and all
We're not
that.
there as zoning, we're not
we approve the
president
minutes
of
from the
zoning.
minute. President, just get that again.
We have to serve.
Can you make a note of
It's
that?
not the zoning board.
Huh?
Yeah, that's what we should
Yeah,
say.
remember that.
So that's why I was bringing that up, so if you just say that, you're not as a zoning board, just as a, as a community person. That's all.
But yeah, just want to.
You just have to say we're there as our own resident.
All right,
What else?
I think we're good.
that's all I got.
Anybody else say? Make a motion to adjourn at 7:17.
Nice. Hopefully to see you on
All in
Thursday. If
favor?
not, have a wonderful holiday. everybody.
Oh, there, wait, hold on.
From adjourning, I,
Linda seconded. Any, all in favor?
Bye.
Aye.